What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, tap the like, and share this video because what I'm about to tell you is one of those political stories that reads like a script straight out of a high-stakes drama. In Zimbabwe's power corridors, where political loyalty is currency and influence is traded like gold, the name Kuda Tagwirei has long been whispered with a mix of awe, suspicion, and curiosity. The controversial business tycoon, often described as one of the most influential men in Zimbabwe's political economy, has now officially been co-opted into the ruling Zanu PF Central Committee after an intense and dramatic fortnight that has left both allies and critics stunned. For years, Tagwirei's influence was undeniable but largely behind the scenes. Known as a close ally of President Emmerson Mnangagwa and often linked to lucrative state contracts, his rise to prominence in Zimbabwe's business landscape was as meteoric as it was controversial. His name is tied to the fuel industry, command agriculture projects, and a network of business dealings that many claim are intertwined with state resources. Yet, until now, his political role remained indirect, a power broker whispering in the right ears, a financier moving pieces on the chessboard from outside the formal structures. But that has changed. Over the past 2 weeks, political gossip in Harare has been in overdrive. It started with quiet murmurs that Tagwirei was being considered for a formal role in Zanu PF. At first, some dismissed it as idle chatter. After all, why would a man who already holds immense influence behind the curtain want to step into the harsh glare of political accountability? But then came the subtle yet telling moves. Reports began to emerge that key provincial leaders were lobbying for his inclusion in the party's central committee, the nerve center where strategic decisions and power plays take shape. The resistance was fierce. Some senior Zanu PF stalwarts, particularly from factions wary of Mnangagwa's inner circle, reportedly pushed back hard. They questioned whether Tagwirei's controversial business dealings and his reputation, often painted by critics as emblematic of crony capitalism, would taint the party further at a time when public trust is already fragile. Others, however, argued that his deep pockets, organizational skills, and connections could be a valuable asset as Zanu PF gears up for future elections and consolidates its grip on power. This battle of wills came to a head over the past fortnight, with tense closed-door meetings, frantic phone calls, and political bargaining reaching fever pitch. The drama reportedly reached a climax when Mnangagwa himself is believed to have stepped in, signaling that the decision was already made, Tagwirei was coming in, and resistance would be futile. That intervention, if true, sent a clear message. Tagwirei's induction was not just a political appointment, it was a consolidation of Mnangagwa's power base within Zanu PF. By bringing him into the Central Committee, the president was not only rewarding loyalty but also securing the party's financial muscle in one decisive move. When the official announcement finally came, it was like a thunderclap. For some, it was the inevitable public acknowledgement of a man whose fingerprints were already all over Zimbabwe's political and economic machinery. For others, it was a deeply troubling sign of how blurred the lines between business and politics have become in the country. Social media exploded, with supporters celebrating his entry as a masterstroke that would energize the party with resources and strategic thinking, while critics lambasted it as a brazen symbol of state capture in plain sight. On the ground in Harare, reactions were just as mixed. In some business circles, there was a quiet sigh of relief. Having one of their own seated at the table of political power could mean greater alignment between the private sector and government policy. In the opposition camp, however, this was viewed as yet another nail in the coffin of any hope for separating political leadership from business patronage networks. They pointed to Tagwirei's controversial past, from allegations of monopolizing the fuel supply chain to benefiting disproportionately from government programs, and warned that his formal entry into politics could further entrench a system where economic opportunities are reserved for the politically connected. What made this appointment even more fascinating was the timing. Zanu PF is currently in a delicate phase, facing growing discontent over economic hardships, rising inflation, and an increasingly restless youth population. In such an environment, Tagwirei's arrival is both a gamble and a calculated move. His wealth could help bankroll grassroots mobilization and party activities, but his presence could also deepen perceptions of elitism and corruption. And for Tagwirei himself, the move into formal politics is equally high risk. While it solidifies his position as a key player in Zimbabwe's ruling establishment, it also puts him squarely in the public eye. Every decision, every deal, every whisper of controversy will now carry the weight of political implications. The cloak of business discretion is gone, he is now a political figure, answerable not just to shareholders but to a party and a nation. Behind the smiles, handshakes, and public endorsements, there is no doubt that fault lines remain. Those who opposed his entry will be watching closely for any misstep. The internal power plays within Zanu PF are far from over, and Tagwirei's arrival could shift alliances in unpredictable ways. Will he become a unifying force, bringing resources and strategic acumen to the party's top leadership? Or will he become a lightning rod for criticism, pulling the party deeper into accusations of corruption and cronyism? As the dust settles on this dramatic fortnight, one thing is clear: Zimbabwe's political chessboard has a new, powerful piece in play, and his moves will be watched not just in Harare, but across the region. For now, Kuda Tagwirei has officially crossed the threshold from power behind the throne to a throne room player, and the real game is only just beginning.